Hi everybody, it's Russ from My Hammers 11. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notifications so you're notified of any time we put on new videos. Obviously, we've got interviews going up daily, but sometimes we go 2-3 times a day. So make sure you hit that bell icon so you don't miss any episodes, because we have some incredible guests coming up in the next couple of weeks, including today's guest. I'm a proper fanboy, John, I'll be honest. He's John Hartson, for example. Yeah, he's 73 times for the club, scored 33 goals in a 2-year period. Obviously, he was our record signing when he came in. And he has appeared in lots and lots of fans' Hammers 11. So I'm really, really pleased to have him. John, how are you doing, man? How's lockdown for you?
I'm very well. Lockdown is, it's not been too bad, actually.
Yeah.
You know, I've got 3 little girls here, and they're actually asking to go back to school. Can you believe that? Can't get them up in the mornings normally, but during these unprecedented times, we're lucky really, because we've got a nice sized garden, and they've got a trampoline, and they've got their bedrooms where they can go and put Netflix on. And we were talking before going live earlier about I was brought up, like many people, in a council house in Swansea on a council estate. And if this had happened then, we had 1 television, we had 1 bathroom, me, my brother and 2 sisters, my parents. And, they don't know they're born now, kids. Even in these difficult times, they've still got loads to do, So they're out in the garden. We've got a little dog. They take the little dog for a walk. And where I'm living in Edinburgh, we've got nice little trails and little tracks and golf courses. They can have little walks and stuff. So it's not been too bad, actually. Yeah. We're very lucky that we've got they've got the space.
Yeah, I think that's the trick, isn't it? That's the luck. People with the space seem to be not as badly affected, basically. Yeah, same as me. I've got a nice garden.
You feel for couples with kids, and they're up in multi-story flats, or as I said, when I grew up, there's 1 bathroom, 1 television. Me and my brother, we had 4 kids and my parents, and it would have been difficult. Would have all been on each other, driving my mother and father absolutely bonkers, But with the way it is now, they don't know they're born, kids these days. Some of them, they're very lucky.
Yeah, they're very lucky. And I think also it's like this. Everyone seems to be coming out of this bettering themselves. You know what I mean? So we spoke before. You went for a 30-mile bike ride today. It's like
30 miles today. Yeah, so
amazing.
I wouldn't have had the time to do that normally. No. If it was Saturday, I'm normally out working at a Premier League game, or I'm on a radio station somewhere. I'm doing something. I'm at an event. Yeah. But for the last sort of 2 or 3 months, I've just had so much time on my hands. Really, it's just filling your time, and so I've decided to get in the gym, get myself fit. I've lost nearly 20 pounds in weight. So I'm just keeping it going. And the main thing is I'm learning a bit about, I'm probably slimmer now than what I was when I ever played for any team.
Sure.
If Harry Redknapp would have seen me now, he'd have sent me to Real Madrid, I reckon.
What was it like? What was it like having Harry as your manager?
Harry was great with me. Remember, he was very persistent in getting in my signing, because I was at Arsenal. And the issue I had at Arsenal, I had 3 years left on my contract. I signed for Arsenal in '95, signed a 5-year contract under George Graham. I arrived for record money. I was Britain's most expensive teenager at that time. And it was all a bit of a bubble for me, really. We're talking 26 years ago now. Yeah. And I struggled to get game time, because I had Ian Wright and Dennis Bergkamp, in front of me, and they were arguably 2 of the best in Europe at the time. Dennis was obviously the Dutch centre forward that we brought in from Inter Milan, and obviously Wrighty was an England regular as well. Ian Wright was a fantastic striker. So game time was, not as much games as I wanted, although me and Wrighty played through the middle, and Dennis played in the hall quite a few times. And then David Dean called me in his office one day and basically said, "Look, John, we'd like to give you a new contract." He said, "But I can understand your situation. You're not going to play as many games maybe as you'd like, but we'd really like to keep you at the football club, because there's no better tool to learn off than the tool that's keeping you out at the minute. But at the same time, I've got my agent saying Harry Redknapp wants to take you to West Ham. They're struggling for goals, and he wants to pay, big money for you, and you'll play every week. He says you'll play every single game, and there's only about 10 or 12 games to go. I think I signed in January, and Harry'd also signed then Paul Kitson. Stevie Lomas came a week after that. And then we got on a bit of a good run. Harry was brilliant, we got on a bit of a good run. He was great with me, gave me confidence. I was flying when I first arrived at the club because I was chomping at the bit to play. I was young, I was aggressive, I was hungry, I had plenty of desire. And it couldn't have gone any better.
No.
We got on a great run. Kits was absolutely magnificent. I think he scored 8 goals and I scored 5 goals in the last 13 games. Yeah. Lomi came in. Stevie was a great leader, ended up captaining the club, of course. And nothing but good things. Nothing but good things initially. And then the following season, coming back, I got myself really fit. And I got 24 goals, which was my biggest tally in the Premier League. I got 30 at Celtic in the Scottish League, but I got 24 goals, missed out on the Golden Boot by 1 goal. I got 15 Premier League goals. I think Michael Owen, Dion Dublin, and Chris Sutton, it might have been, scored a few more. But I got sent off twice that year. And I missed, I think it was 6 or 7 games. Talking to me now, Russ, you must think, how can this man get sent off? He's the nicest man in the world.
Man in the world. We've basically been chatting for 20 minutes when we started.
Russ, when I crossed the line, I became a monster.
Really?
And I think the better players do that. They change. You can't be the same. I think as well, you see that off the pitch. I'm nice as pie. I'm not aggressive. I'm very nice. I do anything to help people out. I've got cancer charity I've set up, and I do loads and loads for cancer and my foundation and everything. I'm continuously sending people goodwill messages on Instagram and Twitter, and my charity office. They get in touch. But when I went on the pitch, I wanted to win so much, and I was very boisterous and I got a few sending offs, which when I look back now was a bit silly, a bit naive. But I was very young, and it's like now when you get older, the one good thing about getting older is you get a lot wiser. You get a lot wiser to people, to decision making, and when the kids come along, then your responsibilities, they just multiply. You want to act right for your kids and do the right thing. Because your kids can read all the media, they can go into Google and check on everything, and you want to do the right things now because your kids are growing up, and you want to show them that you're a responsible adult and you need to look after them properly.
Exactly. No, it's so true. It's so true. But obviously, when, as you said, when Harry brought you in, obviously he brought in Paul as well, and basically you two kept us up. I think we were like 18th when you came in. I think we finished about 13th, 14th. And obviously your first goal was against Tottenham at home, which was like if like any West Ham player to be ultimately brought in.
My actual debut was Derby away.
You lost. Yeah, we lost.
And I got booked, and I was on 4 bookings before I came to West Ham. And I think that was my 5th booking. So I didn't have the best of starts.
No.
I got booked for a clash with Stimac, and then I had to face a suspension, of course. Yeah. We lost that game 1-0 away to Derby. Julian Dix got sent off in that game at the baseball ground. And the Croatian Asanovic scored the penalty. He was a great player. So then I've got an immediate 2-game suspension or whatever it was. So that wasn't a great start. I've got to come into the team. I've got to hit the ground running. They're desperate for points, desperate for goals. So then I've got a Monday night in about 10 days to play Spurs, and I knew I'd been told about how vital West Ham want to beat Spurs, vice versa. I know you got the big London derby, North London derby, which I played in for Arsenal on a few games. So I realised how important it was. I'd always had a decent record against Sol Campbell as well. I'd scored against Sol, and he was probably about the same size as me physically.
Yeah.
And I remember the ball coming across. It was a wet and it was a windy night. It was my home derby. It was live on Sky.
Yeah.
And I just attacked the ball, and I think there was only one player wanted to head it. And I put Sol Campbell and the ball in the back of the net that night. And I ran off, and I don't know if it was a good thing, but I held the badge. I think my agent said, look, if you score tonight, show these fans, these West Ham fans, they're really passionate, John. He said, grab hold of your shirt, it's against Spurs. And I did exactly that. And we won the game 4-3, and it was an unbelievable game. And I won the penalty for Dixie as well.
I remember,
90th minute. I think I was trying to get hold of the ball, and my legs got taken from behind me. And the referee pointed to the spot, and there was a wonderful penalty. I think 3 goalkeepers wouldn't have stopped that.
Nah, no, exactly. And it's like scoring the first, he's a home goal first goal against Tottenham, beating Tottenham in a archetypal West Ham game, drizzly but under the lights, Upton Park. That's like would cement you straight away in the West Ham faithful, because it was just an amazing. And that game, I think, was the one that really got the momentum going for the rest of the season. That was it happens quite a lot with West Ham. We end up always turning up against Tottenham, and that's the game that triggers things going. But
sometimes it can take something like that, for when you're in the relegation battle. I remember I got relegated at Wimbledon, and I got relegated at Coventry after I'd left West Ham. And it's not really about having quality players and having to pass the ball, and you've got to grind results out. And sometimes it's about character, and you haven't got to be the greatest fullback in the world, but if you've got desire and a will to dig in and to give everything that you have, and I think we had a team of them at the time, and I think Harry realised he had more characters than maybe he thought that he had before me and Paul came. I know we gave the team a bit of a lift, but don't forget John Moncur's winning goal at Leicester midweek when I was up against Walsh, Elliott and Taggart. If Walshy didn't get you, Big Tags got you. If Tags didn't get you, Big Matty got you. It was one of them, 3 big centre halves, and I gave as good as I had. And I think Martin O'Neill watched me that night, and Martin eventually signed me for Celtic, 10 years after it, 7 or 8 years, whatever it was. And that was a great night. Richard Hall, who had problems with his knee, big Hawley, he was immense that night. Just like it's unsung heroes like that, that maybe, the West Ham fans would remember them, of course, because they remember all their players and most of the games. But it's people like Richard Hall that night who headed everything out of our box, defended brilliantly. So it's things like that stick with me in terms of that relegation battle, what helped us get out of it. People talk about mine and Kitch's goals, but there was so much more to that. Stan Lazaridis was excellent. Tim Breaker was great down that right-hand side. Little Potsy was brilliant, Rio had just broken through. Frank Lampard had just broken through, getting a few games. Rio started at midfield, and then he eventually became, the world-class centre-half that he turned out to be. So I go through the team. Bish was a fantastic football player. Ian Dowie helped me a lot because I lived in St Albans and Ian lived in Harpenden. So we'd come around the M25, up through Thane Boys, around, and then in through Hainault into Dagenham, and then onto the training ground at Chadwell. Was it Chadwell Heath?
Chadwell Heath, yeah.
Chadwell Heath, that's right, yeah. So I used to share lifts with Ian most mornings, and we'd have a laugh and everything, we got on really well. And he helped me settle in an awful lot, Ian Dowie. Really nice guy, and he was really good to me when I first arrived, and you need someone, a senior player, just to show you about it a little bit. Because remember, I was still very young, I was only 21.
Yeah, totally. And as you said, it's like, and I know obviously you went from Luton to Arsenal with that sort of mantle of being, the world's UK's most expensive teenager. And obviously, when you signed for West Ham, you were the most expensive player who signed for West Ham. So you still had that sort of, still had
Well,
a price
I
tag.
went Arsenal for record money. I went West Ham
Yeah,
for record money.
went to Wimbledon.
And then I went Wimbledon for record
Yeah.
money. And then I went Celtic for record money.
So you won.
Glide through careers, and not really get spoken about.
Yeah.
But when you're record signing, expectancy from everybody rises. Sure. And it's nothing to do with me. I don't decide what I'm worth,
Yeah.
You're there to be shot at, if you like, if they know that you're a record signing. So I had to cope with that, 20, 23, 24, and I'd already broken 3 London club transfer records.
Yeah.
But, it was what it was. I was very young, but going back, as I said, I was pretty much, what I say to footballers now is when you get a bit of success, I think it's really important to make the most out of that and embrace it and really enjoy that particular moment. Which I didn't always do that, because I look back and think now I'm a bit wiser. I enjoyed success at Celtic, winning 3 titles in 5 years and cup finals and everything. But when I was younger, it came so quick to me. The move to Arsenal, just out of the youth team at Arsenal Luton. Yeah. And I moved to Arsenal. George Graham, David Pleater didn't have an agent, done the deal for me, the manager at Luton. So no, about him and George might have had a few quid out of that one. I don't know. But, so what I'm saying is that when you get success now, I would tell any young player to enjoy it, enjoy the moment, because you don't always get them sort of moments in a career, and surviving for West Ham that time and playing in the 2 quarterfinals, the FA Cup and the League Cup. That was one of my big regrets. When I was at West Ham, we never quite got to a semi-final or a final, a day out for the supporters, because we had a really good team.
You had a great team, particularly that 97-98 season, where you were so prolific. That was an awesome team. And why do you think you were? Why do you think that year it was the most goals you scored in a Premier League season, so to speak? What was it about that team and that season that just clicked?
Well, the team were great for a start because we had really good midfield players. We had footballers in the team. Yeah, Harry likes playing football. Harry's old school. He played in a great West Ham team. He knows the blueprint for the club, and that is passing the ball, entertaining the crowd, and he made sure he had footballers in the team. Yeah. John Moncur could play. He could go either way, John. Bish could play. Ian Bishop, what a footballer Bish was. Yeah. And they used to roll it into me, the right side and with the right way to pass. And we had 2 good fullbacks in Dixie and Tim Breaker, who generally played on the halfway line. They went forward, all the time, and the crosses would come in. And then we signed Trevor Sinclair. Trevor was brilliant, supplied a lot of goals for me. Little Al Berkovic was a wonderful footballer. Made a lot of my goals at West Ham. I know we had the training ground incident, and it was, it happened, one of those things. We talk about that. I regretted that incident, of course, because it was the wrong reaction. But again, we've made up. We've been together since, and we're okay now, if you like. The press got a field out of that, by the way.
But
that's another thing. Yeah, but Isle was a terrific footballer. He really was. Great balance. He could glide past people, and we had a really good side. As I said, Lazaridis, Potsy, Big Richard Hall, and then Rio went centre half. Mark Reaper when I first arrived as well. So we had really good players. Kits and Abu was powerful as well. Remember Abu, the striker?
Samasi Abu, yeah.
He was a bit hit and miss. He was a bit unpredictable, but he was quite powerful, And as I said, me and Kits, we never worked. We were good friends. We played a bit of golf together and that, because there's a lot of good golfers at West Ham at that time. You had Dixie playing on single figures. You had Johnny Moncur, John's couple of brothers. One was at Nazing and another one was somewhere else. two pro golfers. So
Yeah.
we spent, most afternoons on the golf course, and we just had a really good squad. Everybody liked each other, and that camaraderie was great, and Harry would basically, if we were training well and playing, the training was great. It was 8v8. We worked hard when we had to.
Yeah.
But when you say what made it, sometimes it just clicks.
Yeah.
But we had really good footballers. Rio could play out from the back. Young Frank came in and gave us that goal threat from midfield. And then Frank went on to become the player that he eventually became, which was a world beater, for Chelsea and England. What a career young Frank ended up having. So we had good players at the football club.
Yeah.
You can't underestimate the talent that was there. And if anything, when I arrived at the club, I'm looking around the dressing room thinking, and they had loads of quality coming through. Michael Carrick, Jermaine Defoe, Bywater, the goalkeeper, Joe Cole. So Tony Carr. Tony Carr was doing great things with the academy and everything else. So the club just needed to stay up.
Yeah.
Just to keep out of that status. Yeah. So we didn't go down so we could kick on. And I think the second season, did we not finish 7th or something like that?
Yeah. It was a complete reversal of form from the beginning of the last season. No, I know. And obviously, it was one of those, I think in my career of being a West Ham fan, so to speak, that Harry period, obviously after you, we had, obviously Di Canio's, and, that was an amazing period for, as you said, for the football. Because West Ham fans like to be entertained. We know we're not going to win the league, but we want to be entertained. And as you said, I think Harry brought that level of entertainment, as you said, with the football.
Harry got that. Russ, he got that because, as I said, he knew what it was about being West Ham man. He knew he had to bring in flair, a little maverick, something like that, and Di Canio, of course, came to the club. They actually bought Di Canio out the money they got for me.
Yeah.
So you look at it, and I interviewed Paolo Di Canio for 3 nights in South London a couple of months ago, and I actually went on the stage and I says, "Look, guys, although everybody loves Di Canio, if Harry hadn't sold me for 7.5 million, Paolo might never have come to the football club. That is the bottom line." But there's a few boos and a few. So look, what he's saying, what he's saying was actually right.
It's economics.
No, I think Harry got a remarkable £7.5 million for me from Wimbledon, and he went out and bought Di Canio, Mark Vivian, Foey, God rest his soul, and Scott Minto.
Yeah,
spent £7.5 million the very next day on 3 players, and I went to Wimbledon. So you look at it, the crossover. But Di Canio, great guy, very infectious, brilliant to interview. Yeah. Bit like me, Russ. You ask me a question and then just sit back.
It's the easiest interview in the world.
On the stage, we ask him a question about Lazio or anything, AC Milan or West Ham. He's away, he's flamboyant and he looks $1 million. And but no, what a nice guy and what a magnificent talent Di Canio was.
Yeah, he was. Anyway, obviously, what we're doing as well is we're asking fans for their memories, and obviously, we found out a lot about how your transfer happened and your time at West Ham, but also the players that meant something. We've spoken about it throughout, but we'll do something a bit more structured now. For those of you new listening on the channel, John's actually, John is a very giving man, and he's not giving us 1 11. He's going to give us 2 11s. Not only is he going to give us his playing 11, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but he's already given his all-time West Ham 11, which we'll put on the screen now. There is some great names on there. Just because John can't see it, just in case he forgot, he's put Phil Parkes in goal, big Parksy. He went for a 3-5-2, so he obviously put Rio in, Alvin, Bobby Moore. He had Dixie on one.
All the 3 centre halves. I think there's 3 there. Sometimes when you mention a name, you go, "Wow, he's a must." You can't pick a West Ham team without Rio Ferdinand being your centre half. He went on to become one of the best centre halves in the world. You can't pick a team without Bobby Moore, the greatest West Ham player of all time, England captain, lifted the World Cup. True. And Alvin Martin for me was 20 years, one club man, legend. So I went for them 3 centre-backs because, as I said, I never saw Bobby Moore play that much, or Alvin, but just the names.
Yeah.
So it's all about opinions.
Yeah.
I've gone for Dixie as my left back,
Yeah.
but a guy I know really well who's up in Scotland, Ray Stewart. Now, what a left back! He was a left back, wasn't he, Ray?
I think he played right on the right side, but still,
Right,
yeah.
but what a penalty taker!
Yeah.
Did he miss a penalty for West Ham?
Something like that. Yeah, if he missed, very rarely.
And I had to go with Julian.
Yeah.
You know, because I played with Dixie for 2 years. You know, he's just like a piece of steel, isn't he? Dixie.
Yeah.
You know, you just try and kick him, or you just bounce off him. You know, he's hard as nails. You don't get the nickname the Terminator for nothing.
no.
Besides that, he could play. Besides that, he could really play.
Yeah.
He used to put the fear of God into right wingers, but he could play the game. You know, with great left foot, brilliant set pieces. He could defend. He put his heart and soul into every single game he played. So he gets my nod, and I went for senior Frank Lampard, didn't I?
Yeah.
Again, an FA Cup winner, played in a great team.
Yeah.
For West Ham. So go on, that's my back 3.
That's your back 3, and you got your 2, and then for your all-time 11, you had Paolo, who we've already spoken about. We'll probably talk about again in a minute.
Yeah.
You got Trevor, Brooklyn, and Devonshire.
Yeah.
3.
But again, you can only pick 11, like, you know, Martin Peters.
Yeah.
You know, Bish. There's others probably not brought up.
But they might come into your playing 11.
Exactly,
so.
Yeah. But Alan Devonshire, I can remember watching Alan when he had long hair, and he was a fantastic midfield player. And I've been at functions and stuff with him, with Tony Gale and Q&As and things like this. And he's a really nice, genuine human being as well. And of course, you know, Paolo again has to be in it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, he's a legend at West Ham.
Yeah, and then up front you had Jeff and McAvenny, who we've already spoken about as being a good mate.
Because it could have been Tony Cottee.
Yeah,
you know, they had a great partnership.
They did.
And they scored a lot of goals. And if you talk about partnerships, they hit it off.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant together. Frank was an outstanding footballer.
Yeah.
Goal scorer, over the top, you know, finisher, quick. And the West Ham fans obviously hold Frank, you know, really, really high regards. He's always down in London. He loves it to London, Frank, because he's happy, you know, he's in Glasgow, quite close to me. But again, TC was a top player. You know, was it Cross as well? Was it Roger Cross? Not Roger Cross.
David Cross.
David Cross. David Cross was another outstanding step forward, aggressive, great in the air. So I can only pick 11 players, but I've gone with that, and I think that's a decent team.
Oh yeah, definitely do a job in their heyday, so to speak. And I mean that's what people say when, obviously, what I do with the fans is I say, right, you have to be alive to have seen them play, because obviously, you know, someone like I couldn't put Bobby Moore in. I never saw him play, so yeah, fair enough. But what comes across,
if you're picking the best ever,
exactly, you would. Yeah,
it
exactly.
Right, when you leave him out.
No, it don't. But obviously, it'd be quite boring for a channel because everyone would say the same people. So we've had about 120 different names come up, and as you said, it's the not necessarily Richard Hall hasn't come up, but it's the, you know, the players who might not have grabbed the headlines are coming through quite a lot because as you said, the fans don't forget, and it's really, really sweet. And obviously, when people, as I said, you've appeared in quite a lot of the 11s. Of fans like Hammer's 11, and
surprised at that, Ross?
Huh?
Surprised at that?
No, not at all. Because John, because to be honest, you know, I wasn't. I mean, I didn't start properly supporting West Ham. My first game was in 1992, so I wasn't.
So it's eras, isn't it? It's eras. You know, you could have been a teenager in '97 and come to watch West Ham play. Watch that year that me and Kits were on fire.
Yeah.
And you had Hartson on your back of your shirt. Yeah. And for that era, he's your best player, or he's your favourite player. Yeah. It's things like that. It's like my nephew, James, my sister's boy. His idol is Lee Trundle. because James, my
Swansea,
sister, lives in Swansea, and my sister, all my family, Swansea people. And Lee Trundle was a magician at Swansea. So it's not his uncle, John Hartson, who played for Arsenal, Celtic, and scored 300 goals and over 50 caps for his country. It's Lee Trundle, who never played higher than the Championship in his career. That's his icon. Could you believe that? But I can get why. Because
totally.
Watching Swansea in 2008, 2009, and the brand of Roberto Martinez, when Trundle was magic, he was doing all the tricks. That's his idol.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
I can get it why people like Stevie Potts. People might not appreciate, never seen Stevie Potts play that much. But what a reliable centre-back Potts was. He was only about 5'6".
Yeah.
But he worked on his game. He got stronger. He never got outrun. He never got outjumped. He never, he used to catch people offside. He was just a really clever centre-half.
It's true. Yeah. And as you said, it is all eras. So it's like, I'm interviewing some younger kids as well, who, in their 11, they've got, and Aaron Cresswell, and that's what's really cool about it. That's what's really cool. And obviously, I'd say that 11, that will definitely do a job. If we picked an 11 that you played with at West Ham, I think that would be quite. I know you've probably given most of the team away, but it doesn't really matter. Who would be in goal? Who would be in goal for your?
Again, I played with 4 goalkeepers at West Ham.
Yeah.
Can you name them?
No, you name them because I'll forget because my mind.
2 years, not 18 months or 20 months. I played with Big Ludo.
Yeah.
I played with Shaka.
Yeah.
I played with Craig Forrest. And I played with Bernard Lamar.
French goalkeeper. Yeah. He was crazy.
And Les Seeley, God rest his soul.
Yes.
No longer with us, Les.
No, yeah.
Les was the goalkeeping coach, and he was great, Les, around the place. I knew Les when I was at Luton as a 16-year-old because he was a Luton Town goalkeeper. And it's so sad that Les is no longer with us because Les introduced me to who would currently be my agents for the last 15, 20 years, which was Stellar Promotions. And Les was a partner with them, but he was quite involved with them. And he took me one day and, the smashing man. So Les was there as well, but I played with 4 keepers. If I had to say one, I would probably say Shaka.
Yeah.
Now, I know Ludo's a legend. Ludo McCloskey would have played in more games than any of them probably put together. Craig Forrest was a Canadian international. But Shaka Hislop, I felt, for me, the period that I was there, I'd have to say him.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, he was, and he was. Again, he's one of the guys who doesn't come up very often, but it's eras, and Shaka, that era was, it was just so cool as well. It was just so cool.
Underneath them was Stephen Bywater.
Yeah. That's
coming through. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one area I don't think West Ham have ever sort of had issues with. We've had some great keepers.
I said Parks in my old time.
Yeah, Parksy, and obviously you had Shaka. You had obviously Ludo. You had David James as well. You had Robert Green, Fabianski, and then
Fabianski obviously went from
Swansea,
Dundee United, I think, to Swansea.
Yeah, because he was at Arsenal as well, wasn't he? Before
Arsenal, and then obviously West Ham paid $7 million for him. Yeah. But he's a great keeper, Polish. Yeah. Him and Artur Polish, I think, were the 2 Polish keepers.
Yeah, I
saw a lot of him at Swansea. Very good keeper, Fabianski.
No, he was. Right. Okay, so we'll put Shaka Hislop in goal. Yeah, and I think with the goalkeeper, it's really interesting when I talk to the ex-players about goalkeepers. They have a different opinion of goalkeepers. Yeah, I mean, because we all know Ludo, and as you said,
centre backs in it. They're a bit closer to goalkeepers.
Yeah.
As long as a keeper can launch it 60 yards and put
You're,
it on my head.
you're okay. You're okay. So, do you want to go to a 3-5-2 for this 11 or 4-4-2? What would you want to do?
4-4-2, if that's all
Yeah,
right.
that's perfect. Right. Who? I can probably guess who would be left back for you.
Dick
Because
would have to be my left back because for the whole period I was at West Ham, it was Julian Dixon, probably Mark Bowen.
Yeah.
Remember Bo?
Yeah.
Bo used to come in now and again, but I think Bo left. He eventually became my coach for Wales for many years. It was him and Eddie Nisvecki and Mark Hughes. They were the Welsh sort of team staff, you know, the coaches. So Bo's a great lad from near me as well, from a place called Neath in Swansea. So I like Mark Bowen a lot, and I played with him for a few months. But listen, Dixie speaks for himself.
He's in your all-time 11, so if he's in your all-time 11, Right, let's go. We'll go right back then. Who will be in the other side for? Who will be right back?
A guy I knew from Luton when I was an apprentice. He was in the Luton Town side, and I used to watch him quite a lot. Solid. Used to get back and forth, up and down. Great fitness levels. Always in the gym. Always doing extra afterwards. Unlike myself. A player called Tim Breaker.
Yeah.
So Tim would be my right back because I knew I watched him a lot on the AstroTurf at Luton in a team, the old team with Mick Harford and all them, Steen, Foster, Ricky Hill, Danny Wilson, David Priest, all these Luton players. When I was an apprentice there, we used to watch the first team quite a lot. We used to play in the morning, the youth team, and they go to Kenilworth Road, and all these names stick with me. I used to clean Mick's boots. As a young apprentice, then you're allocated with a professional that you have to put his kit out every morning.
Yeah.
Make sure his boots are all nice and gleaming for them for the games. And I think I probably got my aggressive as well, my aggressive streak from watching Mick, you know, because he was extremely aggressive. But a great centre forward, played for England, wonderful touch. You know, so my right back would be Tim Breaker, and I thought Tim got a few good crosses in for me as well. A few goals now. I look over the archives, and there's a few goals come in from the right hand side, crosses from Tim Breaker. Yeah. So I'd say Tim as my right back.
Yes, that's a good shout. And did you get a good tip from Mick when you at Christmas? For being his boot boy?
I did. Yeah. We were on £29.50 a week.
Yeah.
It was old YTS. You know, I came to Luton in 1991 when I was 16 years of age. I broke into the first team, made my debut around 93. Mick was great with me. I think he gave me about 30 quid or 50 quid one year.
That's good.
Which was quite a lot of money now. But no, he was great with me, and we still speak today. You know, he's recruitment officer now at Luton. Yeah. They've just given Nathan Jones the job again. He went to Stoke, left them. Yeah. But they've reappointed Nathan. I wish them well. They're a great little club, Luton. And this, of course, is where it all started for me with David Bleach. It was who gave me my debut.
No, totally. I was interviewing Bertie Brayley. He was part of the youth team at West Ham one night with Joe and that lot, and he was Di Canio's boot boy, and at Christmas Di Canio beckoned him to his car, gave him this box, and it was a pair of his boots or whatever, of Di Canio's boots, which were unworn, but they were too small for Bertie, and they had no laces in. Oh my God. It's he was thinking, ka-ching. Anyway, right, we'll put Timmy in right back. Centre backs, John. Who will have your two centre backs then?
Well, again, it has to be. I would have to go with Rio.
Yeah, of course.
Rio Ferdinand. I remember him coming on as a. I'm not sure if he came on as a sub or if he started my debut away at Derby at the old baseball ground. He was very young. I think he might even have been 16, you know. Yeah. But he was tall, gangly, not a lot of muscle. But you could see, you know, he had class and, you know, you could see that he had great feet and he was going places, you know. I'm not sure if he came on as a sub or if he started that game, but that was the first time I'd seen him in a game situation. Yeah. And he you know, the way that he's gone on, and
Yeah,
you know, Man United and Leeds, Champions League winners medals. And I like Rio. I work with him a bit with BT Sport. And, you know, he's never forgot himself. He still goes back and sees all his pals and, you know, where he was brought up and everything else. And he's a great lad, Rio. I always tell him, never change, you know, just be yourself. He's very humble and never forgot where he's come from, never forgot his old pals and everything. So I like that. I'm very much like that with my mates in Swansea as well. So he's a great lad, and he's gone on to have a fantastic football career. And he was a great player.
Yeah.
You know, when you say great, sometimes you use the word great, but he went on to become a great centre-half.
Yeah.
So I put Rio in there. Alongside him, I'm going to put a player that was at the club when I arrived, Mark Reaper. Remember, these are the players that I played with.
Yeah, no, definitely.
At West Ham during my era. So I put Mark Reaper in there. Mark's about 6'4", 6'5", fantastic in the air, Danish centre half. Yeah. Of course, he had a spell at Celtic as well. Yeah. I didn't play with him at Celtic. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. So that would be my back four. I'd go with Reaper and Rio, I think.
Yeah, nice.
But again, I've left out Richard Hall.
Oh, you've left. Yeah, I mean, you'd have left
loads. Left out Potsy. Didn't play with Daly. So again, it's difficult, you know. But trying to give Levin that I think could have stood up, you know, at that time and did very well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's great. Let's go. Who would you have on the left wing, John? Who'd be on your left wing?
On the left wing, I'd put in Al Berkovic. I'd have him cutting in from that left-hand side.
Oh, yeah.
I'd play him inside. I wouldn't have him stuck out because he didn't have the greatest of pace, but he could glide past people and he could make things happen. Yeah. He could use the ball really well. So when I say it would be a narrow sort
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because he was such a great footballer. I say great footballer, a fantastic footballer. Yeah. Israeli international, made an awful lot of goals. Yeah. Went on to play for Man City, won a load of caps for Israel, Portsmouth again with Harry, played at Celtic for a while. Yeah. And I just thought he had great guile, really, you know, clever on the ball. Yeah. So I have to put Isle in the team.
Yeah, definitely.
On the left-hand side, I've left out Stan Lazaridis. Stan was a good winger. He used to get the ball in the box. So I saw Stan as well a couple of years ago. I went over to Perth, and he lives in Perth. And we managed to get together, had a bit of breakfast, and we caught up. It was great to see him again after all these years. Wow. He's a lovely man, Stan Lazaridis. Yeah. So I put Isle on that left-hand side.
Sounds great.
On the right, I'd have to put Trevor Sinclair. Yeah. I played with Trev for majority of time I was there. Great player again, really, really outstanding pace, technique, great delivery, took corners, good from dead ball situations. So Trevor, again, England international, really good, solid player. Did very, very well for QPR, went to Man City, played for England. So good signing, I think, for Harry Redknapp was Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah.
Trevor on the right.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, who are we going to have in the middle then?
This is really hard in the middle because I have to have young Frank in there.
Yeah.
I have to have him in there. Now, I know maybe he didn't show the form he showed at Chelsea while he was at West Ham. He got an opportunity to come in under Harry. And Frank reminded me a bit of David Platt, but he went on to be 5 times the player David Platt was. Just used to gamble, getting into the box. Every time the ball went in the box, Frank would break through 2 defenders, right through them, and just gamble that the ball would come to him. And a lot of the time, because of his will to go into the box and not to stop short on the edge, just went that little bit more, he'd get his reward. And he was a fantastic trainer. I've heard Harry say many a times his attitude was 100%. He was, he would practice his free kicks and finishing after training. He had a magnificent attitude, and it was probably his attitude, although he had great ability, which was his biggest asset, Frank. Just that will to get better all the time. Some players hit a level of standard and they're happy to have hit there, and then they don't get any higher, they stand still or whatever. Frank wanted to get to the very, very top, and he did, of course. So I couldn't have a midfield. I know Lomi, Bish, Monks, a load of these guys have been watching me and saying, I can't believe you're going to leave me out, I were great friends with them.
Yeah.
So I'd have to have a team. Frank Lampard Jr. has to be in my team.
Yeah.
Simply because of his numbers,
Yeah.
And besides that, he was a great player. Alongside Frank, I'm going to have to go with Monks.
Yeah.
A great character, John. Funniest player I've played with. Just took everything in his stride. You could not, take John too serious.
Yeah.
When you looked at him, you just laugh. He just had one of them faces. And he was a real character in the dressing room, never stopped, infectious, great golfer, and good on a golf course as well. So any time I ever used to see him serious when he was standing over the ball, that was the only time he'd actually concentrate and be serious.
Yeah.
But he could go both ways, John. He was left foot, right foot. He could chop it back and forth, and loved the tackle as well. Yeah. Aggressive when he had to be. But again, I mentioned a few of the names there that I've left out, which is a shame, but I can only pick 11.
Yeah.
And alongside me, of course, I had my best spell. I played with a couple of strikers while I was there. Yeah. There was a young kid called Hugo Porfirio.
Oh, yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah. He'd never seen snow before. Then we played Wrexham, and we got knocked out of the cup, I think, and he'd never seen snow before. Yeah.
Where was he from? He wasn't Bulgarian, was he?
No. He was Portuguese, I think. He was Portuguese. Yeah. He says when he's looking at
honestly, I often think about him when I think of really skillful players.
Yeah.
He had magnificent feet. He could turn people inside out. Hugo Porfirio.
Yeah, I'm doing a Wikipedia as we're going to see if I can find where he came. I'm pretty sure he was definitely Portuguese, but yeah, no, he was a small guy, wasn't he? He was
different class. And I'm on about the strikers that I played with. I think it was Abu, Kits, Downer, Ian Dowie himself.
Yeah.
We played together a couple of times. So the man I'm going for, obviously, Russ, is the one that I shared a great partnership with, and we hit it off. Was Kitson, Paul Kitson. Top little striker. In a similar situation to me, really, because at Newcastle, he had Alan Shearer, one or two others. And probably like myself, he probably needed that bit of freshness. He needed to move. Because he wasn't getting the game time. So Kits came to West Ham, chomping at the bit, hungry, wanting to get going, wanting to get games. I'd come from Arsenal, at Bergkamp, right, keep me out of the team. I'd come to West Ham, roaring, ready to go, ready to just sort of run through walls, with that attitude and desire and everything that I had at that age. So me and Kits, we were bursting at the seams, and we hit it off. And of course, with a lot of help from all the other teammates, we managed to produce that miracle, and we stayed up the year we both arrived, which was great. So that's my 11 I played with. Good.
No, it's awesome, man. And Hugo Porfirio was, Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yeah,
the fans would remember him. The fans would, because there were some games we played. We played Sheffield Wednesday once at home, boiling hot day. Kit scored 3 and I scored 5. And Kit scored 3 and I scored 2. We beat Sheffield Wednesday 5-0 or 5-1 at Upton Park. And I think Hugo Porfirio made for them. He was just incredible. And I remember training with him as well. And not a lot of people would know him. Not a lot of people would remember him. The West Ham fans might. But outside of West Ham,
No.
other than being in his native Portugal, maybe. But no, I wanted to give him a mention because he was a little class act. He was
Yeah.
great.
No, he's he was from Sporting Lisbon. He came to us on loan. There we go. John, that concludes 2 for the price of 1. That's what I love. 2 for the price of 1, 11s. John, it's been absolutely, it's been a dream. It's been a dream to chatting to you. It's been so nice. Thank you so much.
All right, Russ. God bless. All the best to you.
And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching. Obviously, you know what to do: share, like, subscribe. And
Good
until
luck to
next.
West Ham. Good luck to David Boys and good luck to West Ham.
Thank you, John. And obviously, take care, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.